Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast, where we talk about all things sustainable fat loss. We take people on 90-day journeys to creating fat loss forever. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm here today with my co-host, Jerrika and Alex, and we are the coaches of Breaking 90 Fitness. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's topic. Hey, Jer.
Hey, Alex, how are things?
Things are going good. We're just getting ready for a fishing trip. I'd like to say an annual fishing trip, but it's not an annual fishing trip. It's something that my dad does every year with my uncle, and they always try to recruit a bunch of their kids to go on this trip. But as you know, life gets crazy busy, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. There's a song that came out recently. I think it's Jordan Davis. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Do you listen fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big country fan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Jordan Davis, where he talks about like you don't know, you take the time now while you have it, because of the opportunity is not going to always be there. And he talks about fishing with your dad. And how if you're too busy to go fishing with your dad, next thing you know, the opportunity's not there to go fishing with your dad. And like, I start listening to this song, I'm like, oh my God, I need to make this a priority.
I love that.
So I'd say we go like every other year, maybe every 3 years, my brothers and I. But my dad's like 73 now, so who knows how long he's going to be able to do this for. Sorry if you're listening to this, Dad. And and
like
so
20 more years.
Yeah. Another thing that got me really thinking was like, I got to bring Emerson on this trip. And I know that it's not ideal to bring a 4-year-old on a fishing trip in the middle of nowhere with no technology and none of the comforts that he's used to. But I'm like, I want him to have these memories of going fishing with Grandpa and Dad. So I'm like, I'm bringing him, and it's going to be complete chaos, but we're doing it. So or we're just preparing for that trip, and I can't wait.
Wow, that's a lot of prep. Now, do your brothers have kids?
So it's myself and my oldest brother going. My middle brother's not going. He has in the past, but he can't this year. And so my oldest brother is bringing his one son, who is Emerson's age. So there'll be 2 4-year-olds, myself, my brother, my dad. It's going to be a whole different fishing trip, because normally we're staying up late and we're on the lake all day. We're going to have to adjust our schedules a little bit, and there's going to be some angry kids that there's no Netflix, but it'll be a good experience for everybody.
Absolutely. That's so awesome. I still have memories that I think about as a kid. So I think that's so important.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Very cool. What do you have for us today?
Yeah. Today I've actually got a question for you, and we'll see where it goes. But I want to talk about in the long run. So people often start off hot. They can crush like 28 days or 6 weeks, or a lot of people can even crush like their first 2 years when they're still like in kind of the honeymoon phase of health and fitness, if you will. I want to talk about why do you think some people continue to succeed after that and some people don't? So that's my question, and I know it's going to branch off a lot, but start off by just telling me, why do you think after that honeymoon phase some people continue to succeed and some people don't?
The first thing that came to my mind, which I mean, it depends on the time frame too, but that's okay. First thing that comes to my mind is the people that do succeed. Well, they could just have a passion for it and love it, but let's set that aside. Like you and I, we have our passion is absolutely like, we look forward to our workouts most days, not all the time, but most days. Now, let's say someone who does succeed, I think that they have learned to create healthy habits outside of the gym. I feel like it's so the simple things that are outside of your exercise routine, they play such a huge part in keeping you regimented in terms of your exercise routine. And I can dig into that a little bit. For example, the people who typically succeed are the ones who still, again, keep it simple, who have still made water a priority. Think about how often when you finish your water, you're drinking lots of water, or you have your goals and you're hitting them, you feel good, but you also, when you hit important goals like that, it makes you want to continue to do other things that make you feel good, right? So even just having a schedule would be another example. So someone who, you know, has worked hard to create and implement a routine and a schedule and follow that is more likely to go to the workout because that's a priority and that's in their schedule. So creating those outer healthy habits, I think, plays a really big part on the people who tend to succeed in health and fitness.
I like that. I think you're bang on with all of that. One thing that you guys will hear me talk about all the time is the all or nothing mindset. And I think this is a massive factor here, the all or nothing mindset. So it's really, really important to understand that unless we're a professional athlete, we all go through ruts and phases and struggles and obstacles. Even professional, yeah, they will, but Definitely. It's on a smaller scale because they've got a whole team like forcing them to perform at that level. It's their career. That's their life. So it's hard to compare ourselves to them. But so the big difference here, I would say, are the people who hit an obstacle and fall into all or nothing thinking, where you're like, okay, things have gone off the rail. I'll just get back on track later when life is easier, right? So typically we go through three different phases at any point in our life. We have progress, maintenance, regression. And regardless of what your goal is, you're either making progress, you're maintaining, or you're in a regression. And maintenance is actually usually just little blips of progress and regress. It's often not that you're perfectly maintaining, but that doesn't really matter. So I think the people who do really, really well long-term understand that those obstacles need to turn into periods of maintenance and not periods of regression. If it is a regression, it needs to be a very, very slow regression. If you just throw in the towel every time life throws you an obstacle, you're probably never going to make long-term progress. You're never going to make it sustainable. It's like we get into this routine and things are going amazing, but it's not practical for things to always be that way. There's going to be a time where you're going to be faced with a schedule change or a huge, huge life-changing obstacle. Making the choice to not go all or nothing will be, to me, the biggest difference there. What do you think about that?
I think when it comes to the all or nothing mindset, that's not something, and I think people listening have to realize that it's not something that, it's not a personality trait. It's something you learn how to navigate, right? It's something you will maneuver through, and you might have that for a while, but it's figuring, like you said, it's learning how to not bounce back, but kind of learning how to get out of those situations. So I think the people who succeed through these times, they ask questions or they're eager to learn. And I think that stems with the all or nothing mindset, because you have to learn and figure out how to maneuver these situations. And it's a trial and error. And these people are okay with, I'm not saying the word failure, but they're okay with things not working out the first time, right? And they're okay with trying it a second time, whatever that situation may be. It might be in exercise or nutrition or whatever part of health and fitness. But yes, like you said, these people are able to understand the all or nothing mindset and accept those maintenance phases and move on, but also are accepting little blips and kind of second chances, if you will.
Totally. Like, as soon as you stop putting a timeline on this journey and think of it as a lifelong journey, it'll set you free, right? Like, okay, so I'm not going to make a ton of progress this month, but I'm not going to let myself slip into my old habits. But that doesn't matter because I've still got 60 years left in this journey. This doesn't have a 2-month timeline on it. That thinking alone will set you free. If you start thinking of this as a whole life journey, then what does it matter if you have 1 month where your progress is a little bit slower, right? That, like, that's the thinking you need to be going into this with. So I have another point that I wanted to suggest, and I'm curious to hear what you think. But I think when people tie their nutrition and their fitness together, that becomes a big issue. And it's not just nutrition, fitness, it's sleep, it's stress, it's hydration, it's emotional health, it's mental health. I do, you guys have heard me talk about a whole health approach. So I believe that all of these have their own branch. They all strengthen each other and they all weaken each other if one of them is affected. I think that they all do affect one another positively and negatively. But I think when people put such a close bond on nutrition and fitness, that is a problem. And what I mean by when I say this is you lose the ability to work out because of an injury, a setback, or a time schedule. And you say, oh, well, my nutrition's out the window right now. I can't focus on nutrition right now because I can't focus on my training right now, or vice versa. We're going to a friend's barbecue this weekend. We're going away to a cottage this weekend for 3 days, and I'm going to be drinking and eating food that's kind of out of my control. What's the point in working out this week? Right? So that is a little bit of the all or nothing mindset in itself, but these two things should not be tied to one another. They're both very important in our health and fitness journey, but they can both exist independently from one another. What are your thoughts around that?
At first I was like, where is he going with this? But now I'm just like, it makes perfect sense. And I 100% agree. The cottage weekend was a great example. And it's true, right? Like we focus on what you have control over. And if you don't have control of being able to, feed yourself and create your own meals, well, you do have two legs or you have two arms, you can get things moving, then focus on what you can control over and start walking up and down a hill in the morning, or take your morning coffee for a stroll at the cottage. It's finding ways that you can implement them separately. I love that. That's a great point.
We know that it almost always is going to circle back to your nutrition. If you have body composition goals, it's almost always going to circle back to your nutrition. But the funny thing is, we almost always start with fitness. So if somebody's like, I want to change my body, I'm going to start running today. If you want to change your body, start eating more vegetables today. Like, truthfully, we should be prioritizing both. 100% fitness and nutrition should both be priorities for everybody, but we should be exercising for our body, our health, our heart health, our strength, our muscular endurance. We should be doing that exercise for our body. We really need to focus on the nutrition for our body composition. So we get caught up in this, like, oh man, I can't work out right now. How can I possibly move forward? Well, that workout's only adding a couple hundred calories to your day. Like, you can still focus on your nutrition and crush it. There's tons of people that work out twice a week and have phenomenal aesthetic bodies. Like, they have bodies that a lot of people would dream of having. I'm talking people who work out twice a week. Do I think it's better to work out 3 or 4 times? Yeah, if you can, it's great, but it's not, they don't have to go hand in hand. They support one another, but they can exist independently.
Awesome. I have another point that just came to mind for people who, succeed long-term. It's the bigger why or the goal setting. Sometimes we either forget what our overriding why is behind why we're doing it. But I think what comes down to is, for people who are doing this long-term and creating a lifestyle and wanting to maintain this for a lifestyle, it's creating smaller goals throughout the bigger why. Like, maybe your bigger why is to lose X amount of pounds. For most of us listening, it's fat loss in X amount of time. But creating those small little goals throughout will keep us motivated. And like, for example, I'm trying to think, like, even 3 months, we always do 90-day goals. That's just kind of keeps us motivated, keeps us kind of trucking, and has a why behind why we're doing this, and understanding that those will change. Your bigger why will probably change. Like, for someone who joins, we've had this happen. Someone joined, their bigger why was to lose X amount of pounds, but then they found this newfound love for exercise or running or whatever it may be. And they're like, no, I just want to run a 5K. I don't even care what I look like aesthetically anymore. I just want to feel good. I want to have more energy. I want to run this 5K, whatever your goal may be. So accepting that your why may change, but also making sure that there is always something that you're excited about or that you're keeping in your mind. I think that's really important.
Yep. It's pretty rare that that an aesthetic goal or a number on a scale will ever carry us through. Like we all want to see those changes, and it's a byproduct of what we do here. But like, if your main goal is to look a certain way, that's only going to carry you for so long. It's not going to be enough motivation to keep you doing this for the rest of your life, to look a certain way. Often we set into it with that goal, but there are underlying motivating factors that we haven't maybe even necessarily uncovered. But you'll along your journey discover, oh yeah, I want to do this because I want to live longer and healthier. I want to do this because I want to increase my confidence, which is fine too. I want to do this because I want to be able to physically do these things that I never thought I could. Or I want to learn how to eat better so that I feel better, so that I have more energy. Like those are definitely the things that are going to get you over the hurdle, because those aesthetic goals, basically, unless you're competing, you're standing on a stage, I don't think they're going to carry anybody long term.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
So the last thing I would say for the people who succeed long term is they've created, well, it's discipline, really. They've created the discipline to bounce back. It's very rare that our success or failure, it's not really failure, but it's very rare that our success is measured by falling off track, but instead by how quick we can bounce back, right? How quick we can get back on track. Like if you fall off hard, I'm talking really hard, for like 3 days, it's not really going to do that much damage in a big picture journey when we are talking about that lifelong journey. But if you fall off hard for 3 days and then take 2 months to get back into your routine, like you can't continue that cycle. If every year coming into Christmas or holidays or like whatever the most busy tax season, if you're an accountant, if every year you have to fall off track for that entire phase, you're never going to make lifelong progress. But if you're able to like be like, okay, this is really 2 days that I need to just like shut down, and I can bounce back after that, you'll be fine. If you go on a vacation for a week and you bounce back on day 8 when you return, you will be fine. But you have to create the discipline to bounce back. You have to create a routine, the discipline, the structure around that, so that you know, okay, I am back on track ASAP. The quicker I get back on track, the less impact this has on my overall success.
Yeah. And with discipline, it's not always like you're going to be doing things you don't want to do because you've instilled these healthy habits. So we say, so with discipline, you wake up and you might not want to go for your 20-minute walk in the morning, but because you've created that discipline, when motivation's low, like we've talked about in other podcasts, you're still going to go for that walk because you know the benefits in the long term. You know how it's going to make you feel after the walk. So it's just reminding yourself again of your why and what it does to you is why you're going to go for that, why you're going to utilize that discipline. Yeah, that's a really big one.
Awesome. That's everything that I wanted to cover today. Is there anything that you want to add that we didn't touch on?
No, I love it. That was a great topic. Great question.
Cool. So what I'm going to leave you guys with today is a little bit, it kind of goes against what I was saying a little bit here, but I want to talk about the power of walking. So I want to challenge everybody to get out and go for a walk. I think walking is the most underrated form of exercise. And I just want to do a quick math with you guys. So going for a 10-minute walk every single day, 10 minutes, like anybody listening to this can commit to a 10-minute walk. I don't care who you are. You could commit to a 10-minute walk. Depending on your size and height and weight and all of this, it's going to be a little bit different from person to person, but a 10-minute walk can burn 50 to 100 calories per person. We're talking 5 to 10 pounds over the course of a year that accumulates to. So that day by day, it's not even going to be noticeable. And that's part of why I say don't exercise to accommodate your nutrition. We can't say, oh, I went for that walk, now I can eat this, because it's never going to balance out. We can't outtrain our bad diet. But over a year, a 10-minute walk can amount to a lot. And there's so many benefits aside from the caloric benefits. It's going to leave us feeling great. It's going to get us outdoors. It's going to give us more energy. It's going to help us with our digestion. That 10-minute walk is going to have such a massive, massive effect on your mental and physical health over the course of a year, that I can't stress it enough. And I'm talking 10 minutes. If you can do 20, it's compound. That's not to say you should go out and do a 3-hour walk every single day. I'm not saying that. We can't push that so far, but think about the compound effect of what that small change in your life can do.
Awesome. Good, great time to start implementing it this summer.
Today, right now, while you're listening, let's go.
Yep. I'm actually going to go for a walk after this podcast.
Awesome. Well, we're finishing 10 minutes early, so you have time for a 10-minute walk. Okay, guys, thank you for listening once again. Please comment, rate, like the episode, share it. We appreciate you guys being here. And as always, if you have topics you want to hear in the future, reach out, let us know what they are, and we'll make sure to make an episode about them. Have a great day, guys.